Hey my fellow diamond friends, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kalikaloo on the internet, and I also go by the name of Kali, and I'm very happy to have you here with me today. If we're not a WIP&Sip&Chat channel, and like you can see, we are joined today by a little something special. So this is Daisy. I call her also Daisy-chan. It's actually a boy and not a girl. But yeah, in the beginning we did not know it, a little bit more about Daisy. But since she was awake at its early morning, which is something rare, I just decided to put her up and let her walk a little bit. But she is going to go back to her cage in an instant so that we can start this WIP&Sip&Chat. But she wanted to have a cameo on the channel, so I was like, okay, Daisy, here we go. Very cute. Like, let me show her to you again. Say hi, Daisy. So this is Daisy-chan, the little hamster, like if you like Hamtaro. So this is Daisy. She's going to get like something sweet to eat, and she will go back. If you're new to diamond painting, I say hey, and welcome to my channel. If you have already been here, I also say hi and welcome back. So I know it has been a time. The last 3 weeks were really stressful, so there was no video that I did put out actually during that period of time, just because schedule wise it was difficult to realize, and I felt a lot tired, and so I decided to just put YouTube to the side a little bit and focus on the rest of the things, do them properly instead of just throwing out a video and feeling down because I had to do it. So, but now I'm back. Time's a little bit more convenient today, and I'm going to chat with you about all things that happened and how things came to be like this. Daisy's still watching there. I don't know what she does, but she looks like she wants to have a morning adventure. So she's looking through all the windows. I don't know. Really cute, Daisy-chan. So yeah, it's a WIP&Sip&Chat, which means that I'll be working on this beautiful project here. So if you don't know what it is, it's one of the first pictures that I post from our small shop, Jolly Jam Shop. It will be linked down below. And it's called Face Silverstrees, and it's by Lucum Rose. You can find her as well. She's also called Melly Rose. And you can find this one here on Jolly Jam Shop. So it's Face Silverstrees by Melrose, and it's a 60 by 80, and I got it with the special drills. So I bought crystals with it, and I bought ABs with it. So this is the possibility that I wanted to add to it for myself. So I got these very beautiful purple crystals for the dress, and I got white ABs for the roses again, and a little bit for the deer as well, and for the butterfly up here. So this is the idea that I had in mind, and I started working on it last week a little bit. I'm a slow diamond painter, so I have not come very far because I have a lot to do for work. And so yeah, this is the whipping part. This is my whip, my project. If you have a current whip, I would be happy to know what your whip is about. Then I have the sipping part. I'll be sipping. I got some black tea here. Maybe go get something to drink. Stay hydrated as well. Very important. And we have the chatting part. So I'll be chatting and you can be listening to what I'm saying. So I'm not going to promise you that it will be very interesting today. I'm just going to promise that I try to bring you up to date to what has happened so far, if you're interested in that. So what have I been up to lately? So it was a little bit difficult to get back to YouTube, just because work is really there's a lot to do for work. I'm going to try to diamond paint at the same time. yeah, there's a lot to do for work at the moment because it's like the end of the year. So when you work as a teacher, there are like two main stressful, actually there are more than two, but there are like really two big stressful periods of time. That's the beginning of the year because you have like new classes, you have to prepare everything, you have to get ready. And you have the end of the year because you have to get all the points together, you have to count them. Like there are a lot of students that are missing generally, so you have to get there, you have to snatch them somehow, and you have to get the notes that they have not yet written, the marks and everything. So the tests and all that is really stressful. Like, of course, we can place the tests whenever we want to place them. There are a few teachers who already placed them a month, like the last test a month before the end of the year. I was never a big fan of that because this means that you still have a whole month where you have to entertain the kids, and they know that they will actually not have to pay attention because there will be like no marks on anything, there will be no tests. So what I like to do is like I really place them more at the end of it, like 2 weeks before the end, or like really the last, not the last week, but like the week just before the week we end. And that's is why I was so busy, because I had all these upcoming class papers. I had to mark them. There are still some left that I have not marked because they just wrote it like yesterday. It was like more of a personal project. It's also something I like to do at the end of the year. Give them like a theme or something to do, and they have to make a personal project about it. This allows them like to be a little bit more creative than what they can be during the rest of the year. Unfortunately, I think that sometimes there are students who just don't get the idea. For them it's already it's summer holiday, so they don't bring the seriousness they need for a last class paper. That's a fact in general. Like if it's a project they can do, or if it's like a written exam, it would be the same result. So it's no big deal. But there was a lot. So I told you guys there are still a few class papers I have to correct. That's also what's on my to-do list for after this video. I really need to finish that off, to put the marks into our system, and that we are ready for the councils next week, and so that I can communicate the marks as well to the students. It's like really a big last sprint, and then on next Tuesday, like in now less than a week, because we are Wednesday when I'm filming, it will be over. Like at 2:00 it will be over. So the school year will be done for the kids. I still have like this week, like next week will be the last week of work, where I'll have to work and just go to the councils, discuss the marks, see which student passed, discuss about orientation maybe for some kids. And then we are good to go, and we are ready for summer break. And I have been looking forward to it. Like I did not even do my yearly annual calendar that I'm always doing. Like generally what I'm doing is I prepare a calendar for the last weeks before the school ends, because I'm so drained of energy. And then I just like mark off every day, and I can count the days exactly until the end of the school year. And I felt like this year it was a little bit easier. I did not have to do it, but last year I remember it was really horrible. So I already did it like 2 months prior to the end of the school year. And this time, like I felt like I needed one like 4 or 5 weeks earlier, but now I feel like I'm fine. Like the more the weeks went by, I felt like I was ready and I could see the end at the horizon. So it was quite nice. When I'm saying this, like it's not that it's that horrible, but you can feel that at the end of a school year, like the kids are really tired, the teachers are getting really tired. it's not really fun, or it's not as pleasant to teach. I feel like the end of the school year. We have a saying here that everything that you did not teach the kids around like Christmas, they won't remember. Just because like ever starting Christmas, their attention goes really down by a lot. And I think like at the beginning I was always laughing at that when I heard that, and I think it's really in some ways it's true, because then it gets better outside. Even though this year we get a little bit unlucky with the weather conditions. It has been really, really cold and especially rainy these last few weeks and months. So we don't have really that sun outside. So there were like maybe 3 days when I went to class and I was feeling like I was boiling in the classroom. But otherwise, it was really okay this year, which is refreshing for when I'm in class, but it's also weird because like I feel like with the climate change it should be like a little bit more hot. But then again, I think it depends a lot on where you live. Because in Greece, like they were boiling throughout the whole year already. And we are just like getting a big rain season over here. So, yeah. But it's weird, like, because usually, like, every year we had, like, these big, especially in the old, like, we have 2 buildings, we have, like, a more real construction, and then we have, like, a building that was built up just, like, to be, it should not be, like, staying there forever as much as it did. Like, it has been there for, like, 20 years nearly. And it should not have been. Like, it should have been a construction that should have been replaced, they told me, quite like after 2-3 years, because we should have gotten a new building, but that was like cancelled. And so they did actually keep the old building, and now we have like this weird building made out of steel, and I don't know what it is made of, but I can tell you that it's getting really hot in the summer, especially like at the lower levels. You're really literally boiling if the sun comes in. So it's not like the nicest to be there in summer, and in winter it's freezing cold as well. But we should be getting like our new construction. They will start it, I guess, next year, and then the building should be done in about like 5 years, I think, or something like that. So it should be done in the future, and the building should be a little bit better, at least in matters of isolation. Yeah, but I'm not here to talk to you about my school building, right? I told you a little bit about weather. I told you it was really weird here. Like, we did not really get all of the sun we usually get in summer. And I feel like when it starts already as wet the year, we won't get like a very hot summer. Like, if it's already like very moist and with a lot of rain in the early months of May and June, you can be nearly sure that July and August and September will not be very, very hot. So I'm glad, because I prefer it when it's like more about 24, 25, 28 maximum degrees. I don't really like it when it gets too hot. But on the other hand, I feel like there's no real summer. Like, the plants are really happy about it. Like, we planted like these new plants outside to kind of not see our neighbors anymore. And they are really thriving. Like, they are growing, and they really enjoy that nice weather. With a lot of rain, but yeah, for like humans it's a little bit like frisky outside. Even now it's not really hot. What I also wanted to tell you is about, since I'm talking about weather, we had like a really bad storm here last week. With a bad storm, I don't mean like it was a lot raining but there was like a lot of wind as well. And there were a lot of like houses that were damaged because of it, especially in the south of our country and also Switzerland. I've seen videos on Instagram. A lot of people who got like really big damages on their houses, and that's also due like to the climate change, I suppose. I missed an X. But like we were lucky since the house is like a little bit not on a straight street, like we are a little bit up a hill. We are not like, if there's a lot of rain, usually it does not enter the houses, but those at the end of the street, like where it gets straight, they had a lot of water, and there were a lot of people, like I said a lot, but there are a few people, that actually did get like water in their cellars or in their garage, and it was not really fun for them. My grandpa, who's living down the street as well, he was lucky. He did not like open his garage to have a look at it, so he was actually safe. His garage stayed safe and dry, but his neighbors, for example, was completely wet for like 2 centimeters. And it's not that it is really bad, like 2 centimeters, you can say it's not as much water, but the thing is, it's not clean water. This means that you still have to clean out everything, and sometimes it does smell like really bad. So that's not fun, and I feel like we are getting more and more of these recently, which is like really I don't know what we can do like to improve this situation. But then again, they are building a lot around here, so a lot of new buildings, and our systems, I feel like they can't take it always. Like this is getting really problematic because like they are building and building, and infrastructure around it, like to prevent such things, does not get better. Like I don't feel like they are investing more into buildings, and rather than like the security or comfort of people. Like, I don't know for you who are not living in Europe, if you have also listened a bit what is going on around the world, like in France, for example, with the new rise of like more right wing. And I feel like I'm not really sure how I should feel about that either. So at the moment, it's like a really troublesome situation here. Like, it's not really, I don't know. I don't know where we are going. That's what I want to say. I don't know where all of this is going. Sometimes I look at humanity and I'm like, what's going on? And I was like, yeah, I don't know what to do about all of that. So I'm rambling about a little bit. The thing is that when I was like busy with work, there was like really not much that I did, especially except like work. I'm happy though that like for the exams of that I had to correct, we had like the divergence denote, which means that if they are going to look like, we are 3 correctors for the final exam to correct the copies. And then what we are doing is that we have a session where the commissionary, they have a look at the notes we attributed to the students. And if the notes are more than 10 points apart, you have to get back together and you have to discuss and find a way to, like, maybe one will go up with the note, one will go down with the note, and just like to be okay with like a mark that is more or less the same for everyone, because 10 points, you may say that's a lot. Oh, you may not know. In general, like in Luxembourg, what we do is if you mark a class paper, it's up to 60 points. And you have to get 30 to pass. And everything below 30 is like really bad, especially like below 20. And so usually when we have final exams, they get already a mark in the school year that does count for 1/3. They do like class papers on all, that counts for 1/3, and the final exam will count for 2/3. And the thing is that when they written the exam, it will be corrected by 3 people. One time their normal teacher they had throughout the whole year, and 2 teachers they don't know from 2 different school buildings. And they are chosen like by a commission, and usually like the director of a school. This year I did not have a final class, a terminal class. I just had like the year before that, so I will have one next year again. But they decided though to give me a class to correct, like to be the second corrector for another class. For actually, it was a big class, so they had to cut it in 2. And I had to correct that. And it was like a private school because they are not allowed to give like notes. I also had to do the oral exam with them. So I had to go to that school and see the teacher, and we had to give them also marks on their oral presentation. Usually it's 2 teachers from the same building or school that they are at. But since it's a private school, they are not allowed to give the marks for the oral exams, and it has to be someone from outside who's also correcting. And so the choice has fallen on me, probably because I did it so well last year. And at the end, like for oral exam, usually it's fine. There's no difference because it's you and their teacher who are deciding, and they just take like the middle way between that. But in general, like for the written exams, it is possible to get like a big divergent, like a big difference between the marks attributed, especially like in science or math. It's like really easy. General, it's like 2 or 3 points that they are apart, but in languages it can be pretty wild because like the difference can be sometimes really, really big, just because like you have different expectations, or you think that something is valid even though it was not on the correction sheet that you get, for example. So the difference can be a lot bigger, especially since they are writing like a dissertation. They are expected to analyze the text. They are marked also on their mistakes they are writing. So it's a little bit more complicated, and sometimes the marks are wider apart. So that's why I told you there is a difference between like 10 points generally that they take, just to make sure like everything that's within this 10-point difference range, like if I give 30 and another one gives 40, we are all fine. Like, and the second one did give like 32, we are all fine. But like if this is too big of a difference, like more than 10 points, usually we have this divergent. It's a day where we all find us together in one school, and we have discussed the mark again. So you get the copy one more time, you have to take it with you, and you have to have a look at it once more, and you have to find some equilibrium in the note. You give like one goes up with the mark, the other one goes a little bit down, and usually that's how it is done. But I was really lucky, and it's actually the second time that I can correct. I wanted to correct a premiere like the last year, and I did not get any divergent this year, so I was really happy. Last year I got one single copy, and I think that out of like over like 20 copies, that's really a lot. Like not a lot at all. So I felt like really happy about that. I did not have to go there because it's always stressful. You have to go there really quickly. You have to find a parking space. You have to wait for everyone to be there, and then you have like to discuss. And it can be really stressful just to go there, like especially if you're like me. And whenever I have to go someplace and I have to worry about a parking spot or a place where I'm not used to go, I can get really stressed out. Maybe I'm a little bit of a chicken concerning that. Like I'm really fearful sometimes. It's something I'm aware of, but I was happy. Like this year I did not have to go, so I was really stressed out because last year it was my boyfriend who did bring me. He just like was kind enough to take the day off and to go there with me. And the problem is that we are only getting noted of it if we have like something one copy or two copies or how many copies the same day that this takes place in the morning, like at 8 a.m. we will be only knowing if it's possible, if we have to go or not. So it's also something that's stressing me out because I don't know, will I have to go? Don't I have to go? Can I stay? How does it work? And I was lucky. So that was the thing. And afterwards, we also have like a council with the commission where we can see what everyone did give as a mark, because up till now, you don't know actually what the other gave as a mark. You only see that once you're in the commission room after the divergent. It's usually like more of a week afterwards, and that's when also the results for the kids are to be released. And it's always funny to see like how the marks drop in private schools, like generally. But it's just like here, because my boyfriend, he was in a private school like in France, and it was very different there. So the system is always different from one country to another, and it's really something that I find like so interesting. Like how school is so different. Like I know that, like I told my friend that lives in the States as well about university. We had a discussion the other day, and she told me that universities, like you get like these public universities that are not as expensive, and then you get like the private universities. And she told me that it is normal to have like prices for them that are up to like 20, 30, 40 million, and not million, but 30,000 euros for a semester. And that's really crazy because like here it's not as expensive as all. I feel like when I went to university, like I had to pay, I don't know, 400 maybe for the whole year, 450 euros, which is okay. Like it's not as much. You can easily pay that. But in the States, apparently it's really crazy. I know that as well in the United Kingdom, universities are a lot more expensive. So it does depend a lot on the country. I don't know how it is in your country, and I would really happy to know how your school system does work in general. Like also the years are very, very different. But in Belgium, I think when I was at university, it was really affordable. And that's something I feel in general in Europe, in most countries, it stays pretty affordable. It's not as expensive. Yeah. So I'm probably not going to do a very long video today. Maybe I will be adding some things to it later on. I was thinking about maybe changing up the method, because if I do it on, the problem is that often I forget like what I did, or like I really don't feel like I have a lot of interesting things to say. So I was thinking that maybe, because usually I try to film when my boyfriend's not there, because it's easier for me, because otherwise he has to work or he's playing games and I don't want it to be in the background. So I film usually on the days that I'm off, but on Mondays until now I came home pretty late, so I did not have like the time or the energy to film on Mondays. Same goes for Tuesdays. Well, things are over now, so we will see how that goes. But I usually filmed on Wednesdays or on Thursdays or even on Fridays, sometimes on Saturday mornings when my boyfriend was still relaxing. But I think that I might change it, and I was wondering if I should not just be like filming a little bit every day instead of filming everything in one go, just to make it easier for me. But I'm not sure about that. So it would be more like a vlog experience, and that's something I have not done yet. Then I also have like the idea of going live, but I told you guys I don't have as many followers, and I feel like it would be really boring if I go there and there's just like no one there to chat with. So I have been like kind of thinking about going live and doing live chats, but then again, like being there on my own is a little bit boring as well. So I prefer it like this way. We will see how it will turn out. I know that there are a little bit more videos planned. I also noticed that I had filmed a video that I completely forgot to put up to my channel. Not the first time this will happen, not the last time either, I guess. So maybe I will bring that up as well. I have just to add something to it because otherwise it will be completely out of context, but sure. So this is it. I think this is what I wanted to say. And I thank you for watching, and I hope like next week, once I'm off work, it will be easier and I will have more things to tell you about. So until then, I hope you stay healthy, I hope you stay hydrated, and bye my friends.